Hi everyone, my name is Miles Greif. I am an aircraft technician for Republic Airways in Louisville, Kentucky. So just a little bit about myself. I'm 24 years old. I have been with Republic since June of 2018. Prior to this, I went to school at Southern Illinois University. I was there for 4 years. I got a degree in aviation technology, and I got my airframe and power plant license while I attended there as well. Before I graduated, but while I still had my A&P, I worked at the flight school for SIU. Did that for about 9 months, and then I got hired on by Republic. So many of y'all may have not have heard of Republic Airways. So we are actually a regional airline, and we do contract flights for American, Delta, and United. So not only do we fly flights from large airports like Chicago, Houston, or New York, we also do several of the smaller communities or maybe a large airplane that they have can't fit, or it's just a less common route where it's cheaper for them to have us fly a small airplane instead of them having a fairly empty larger airplane. So I didn't always want to be an aircraft technician. Back when I was in middle school and high school, I actually wanted to be an aerospace engineer. But then as the years progressed, I realized I really did not like math all that much, but I still had an affinity for aviation. That would be because of my dad. He's actually a retired Air Force pilot and is currently a UPS pilot on the MD-11. And so I'd always been around aviation, and I knew I wanted to stick with it. And I'd always been good working with my hands. I liked working on cars. And so when he mentioned being an aircraft mechanic is actually a career field, I never really thought about it. And I looked more into it, and it sounded something that'd be right up my alley. So as I said earlier, I started my career working for Southern Illinois University's flight school. I got hired on there immediately after I got my A&P. I was one of the first people in my class to get it, and this job only had a few openings, so I knew that I wanted to get my license early so I could get my application in early. It worked out in my favor. I was hired on. I worked for them until I graduated, and then I was immediately hired by Republic. I started networking with Republic actually back when I was a freshman in college. I had met some pilots, some mechanics, and some recruiters, and they were the ones who helped guide me through the whole process of applying for Republic, having a good resume, how to interview for the company, gave me little tips and tricks along the way. And I kept with them from my freshman, sophomore, all the way through my senior year. And that definitely gave me an advantage when I went in for my job interview because I knew a lot about the company and I already had some solid contacts who could give me a recommendation to get my foot in the door. So, like I said earlier, my job is an aircraft technician for Republic Airways. So, I am here for maintenance for the airplane to make sure it can fly safely. This goes from anything from changing oil to changing tires, all the way up to changing entire engines. The biggest thing that I like about this job is that every day is different. I really don't know whatever is going to come through the hangar doors. There are some things that are expected from oil changes to possible tire changes. Those are some pretty routine jobs that we do. But then you could be changing the air conditioning system on the airplane, or you could be tearing apart a seat in the cabin. A lot of different things that you can get into, and especially with Republic, they like to get you in all different facets of the aircraft, so you really get to know the airplane. When you're on the actual job, some things to keep in mind is you're going to be on your feet a lot. You will be walking up and downstairs. You'll be lifting heavy objects. You're going to be constantly moving. Another is that you will get dirty. Your hands, your arms, your legs, sometimes even your face. It's a dirty environment, and especially working on aircraft that are flying all day, whether it's in rain or snow, they can get pretty dirty. And another is be prepared for loud noises. There is hearing protection that you can use to protect yourself in your ears. That is highly, highly recommended. We actually have earplug stations stationed all over the hangar to assist us with being able to keep our hearing in good shape.
So something interesting about this job is that you can actually get your airframe and power plant license within 2 years and sometimes even less. I went to a 4-year university, and that isn't necessary, and most people don't. The airframe and power plant license is what gives you the authority to work on aircraft such as the Embraer 170 and 175 by the FAA. You have to complete a certain amount of courses that is monitored by the FAA, followed by taking an oral, practical, and written exam. A lot of community colleges around the U.S. offer airframe and power plant courses.
One of my biggest tips when it comes to the actual interview is first off to know the company, know the history, know the type of aircraft that they fly, and their routes. Those are some of the biggest things that impress people who are interviewing you. Another big thing is to dress professionally. Looking nice says a lot and shows that you are actually serious about the position. And third off is just to be confident. Walk in, you know your information, you know a lot about the company. Just be personable, be confident. Don't try to be shy or timid, because that also goes a really long way. My biggest tip for when you are actually on the job and you're hired and you started working is be ready to learn. You have learned all of this stuff in school, or at least a lot of it, but every company is going to be different, and it does seem very overwhelming at first. But you actually learn a lot from the guys who are on the floor, whether it's your lead supervisor, the lead mechanic, or just a regular floor mechanic. Everybody's willing to help, and they all remember when they were fresh out of school. It's a little overwhelming, but the biggest thing is just be ready to learn. And after you get acclimated for a while, there are going to be other new guys, and be willing to teach. People helped you out. If you help them out, it says a lot. Not only as you as a mechanic, but you as a person. So like I said earlier, I've been with the company a year and a half. I'm still fairly new in retrospect to a lot of the guys that are here. So I haven't received any major promotions, but one notable qualification that I have gained is my run taxi license. This is just unique to the company. Most companies have these, and it gives me the training and the authority to taxi the airplanes, which is like driving it on the airfield, starting engines. So we can do a power run up, or if we have the plane over at the terminal, we can bring it here over to the hangar without having to hook it up to a tow. So those are some things that just shows that the company trusts me with operating these very expensive airplanes safely. So one of the biggest perks that I get asked about a lot from friends and family is flight benefits. Because Republic operates for American, Delta, and United, I actually get benefits on all 3 airlines, which means I personally can, we call it non-revenue flying, pretty much anywhere in the country. As long as there is a spot available on the airplane, I'm able to hop on and I can travel wherever I like. So I've been out to Portland, Oregon, Salt Lake City, Dallas, New York. I've been to a lot of places just in the year and a half that I've been here that I wouldn't have been able to do if I would have worked in a different career field. And some of the benefits also apply to friends and family members. I have my parents on my flight benefits, I have my fiance, and I have one of my friends. So if we ever get a free weekend, we can look at how many seats are available and maybe get away for a weekend, which is very nice and a huge perk to this job. So I hope this video was very helpful to you all. I know that it is very overwhelming when you're in school and you're trying to decide what you want to do for the rest of your life. I remember being in the same boat. But don't worry, you will get through this if you choose to be an aircraft technician. It's a great career. I've enjoyed every minute. I couldn't see myself doing anything else. It's from every day being a little bit different, having the community that I've built here, and working just for a great company is just all I could ever ask for.